What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Justin Block, and for work, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an investor, and recently sold our business a few months ago, and now I'm making videos. And so, in this video today, I wanted to talk about what I look for when I'm investing in a company. I've invested in a few companies myself before we sold the business, after we sold the business. These are things that I've learned from mistakes, from mentors, from books, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not claiming to be an expert in any of these things, but I just wanted to share three topics that or I guess three things that I'm really looking for here. And again, this isn't like financial advice or anything, just my own shared experience. And so when it comes to, and this is assuming you're investing directly in a business, by the way, so investing in companies. And so number one is people, because what is business at the end of the day? Business is just people, and if you have a great business, you probably have great people. And so when I'm investing in a business and I'm looking to invest in a business, the first thing I'm going to is the entrepreneur, the founding team, I guess the people that are running the day to day, the executive team, whatever you want to call them. And so I'm asking them about themselves. I'm asking them about their upbringing, why they started the business, what their end game is with the business. I'm judging them, not judging them like making judgments on them like from personally, but I'm judging them on their self-awareness, their skill set. Do they have previous experience in the venture that they're starting in? Are they totally new? They have no idea what they're really doing. That makes it a lot harder for me to probably want to get involved with something that they're doing. How coachable are they? Are they obsessed with learning? Again, all these intangible things that, are they obsessed with what they're trying to do? Are they just in this for a quick win? They think they can just start a business and sell it in 3 years and become a billionaire. Like, that's not how most of this stuff works. So I think the best founders for me are actually founders who don't even really care about selling the business that much. They're like, I just want to make a really good product, solving a really good problem. It was a problem for me, for my personal life. I want to see this in the world, and I want to see a change made through my business. And I think for me, that's the biggest thing that I look for in an entrepreneur. One of the biggest things, and how much integrity do they have? All those kind of things that you can't really put on a piece of paper, really, or you can't judge by a piece of paper. It's only going to come from interaction. And I think also, just as a side note, a little bit right here, learning how to read people is really, really important in business when you're looking to invest in someone and in life. And the reason I say that is because I had a friend, and he's very, very successful, and he's invested in probably over 100 different companies. And now he takes things to the extreme, in my view. But he'll actually like do a background check, hire a private investigator on people, because he's had so many failures and learnings where he's invested in companies and he thought the person was awesome. He's really good at reading people, but then like a year, 2 years down the line, they make a mistake, lose all the money, the business doesn't do well, the founders, the team quits, whatever. And so he's lost a bunch of money. And so now he'll actually go and hire a private investigator, and he'll show the people that he's looking to invest in, like, if it comes back clean, he's all good. But if it's bad, he'll question them, and if it doesn't align with him, he's out. And so I say that because like most people probably aren't going to do that, but if you get good at reading people and understanding them, even what they're saying might not be true, but to like dig a layer deeper and understand, like, all right, what does this person really mean? That's just the skills that you'll develop throughout time, and throughout your life. But I think that's something to keep in mind. And there's some good books out there on psychology and reading people that I think are worth taking to read if you are looking to invest in companies. That's just my 2 cents there. And so speaking of two, let's go to number two with the second thing I'm looking at, which is the business. And again, these aren't in like a particular order, because obviously you're probably going to take the meeting because you think the business is cool or interesting, but the business model, really, really important. Like, again, what problem are we solving? How can the entrepreneur articulate that to me? Is it a real problem? Are there real customers out there? Are there real margins to be made? Is there scalability here? What kind of leverage does the business have? I think talking about leverage and scalability, I think you can be a great entrepreneur, but you can be in the wrong vehicle. And Warren Buffett talks about this a lot. His vehicle is buying businesses. Like, he buys companies, and that's why he's so successful. But there's an example out there that I forget who said it, but I think someone was talking to me about it, how you can be a great entrepreneur, but you can be the great entrepreneur who wants to start a lemonade stand in your local neighborhood, or you can be a great entrepreneur and want to sell lemonade to big restaurants, hotels, food service, all that kind of stuff. They're very different. And so this is local scalability, maybe some national scalability like years later, but this is like you can go get one customer and have a multi-million-dollar business, and you can scale from there. So as an investor, you want to get return on your capital. I'm looking at the scalability. Also, like, if there's potential, like if the founder ever steps away, that kind of stuff, can you step in and or have someone step in? Just like all these things, like the numbers they might show you. You get this thing called a pitch deck if you're not familiar with investing, which is like the outline, what the business is, about the team, the numbers, like what they're trying to do, all that kind of stuff. And they might share some revenue numbers and some profit numbers in there. And maybe you might have to sign an NDA to get that far, but I don't hold a ton of weight there because like even then I think the numbers are only as good as whoever's making them and whoever's reading them. But for me, I usually like cut the numbers in half. That's just something I do just to like set my own expectations. And I think founders can get excited about this kind of stuff, and sometimes they're not realistic, especially if you're just meeting them. So I don't put a whole lot of weight there, but they do matter. So showing the scalability of the business, because when you're investing money, you're investing in a business because you think you can get outsized returns. So you can go invest in the stock market, bonds, real estate, all this stuff, and you can get pretty decent return. When you're investing in a business, shoot, if I'm investing in a business, say the valuation's $1 million, I invest $100,000, I get 10% of the business. I'm hoping that 10% of the $1 million turns into 10 million, 20 million, 30. I'm hoping this blows up, right? And so that's what I mean by the scalability. Like you want to see an outsized return there, and it's a more controlled environment. It's still very risky, but that's why you're investing in the company. You think this has a lot of potential here. So the scalability really matters. Again, is it a real problem? I think if you're looking at branded businesses, this is just something that popped into my mind. There's a lot of products disguised as brands nowadays, which is something I'm just seeing personally at this moment in time. And that's not something that I'm particularly fond of. Like brand is like one of the most important things. And if you're a customer, like if you're a business, you want to have a brand that identifies with customers. You're really selling them an identity. Like if you're going to go buy a healthy, better for you product, you're buying it because you see yourself as that person, or you start to buy it and you see yourself more as that person. And that's really what brand communicating from a brand point of view is. And so the best businesses understand their customer, I think, better than they understand themselves. So if you're an investor, look at it from that lens, saying like, what is this problem? How can I communicate it better to my customers? How we solve that problem? And I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And again, obviously, the margins of the business, like better gross margins are obviously better, bigger, better. So better net margins, all that kind of stuff. And so again, keeping things high level here, but those are the first two. And then the third is what I'm calling the timing. And what I mean by timing is like the market environment, like the economic environment. And so I think a lot of times nowadays, I think it just helps to be aware of like what you're doing and what you're investing in. So if you're starting a newspaper company and it's 2025, like to me, that's like a dying market. Like I don't know many people my age or younger who are reading the newspaper. Maybe with all this AI boom, like people are gonna want to disconnect and go back to the newspaper. I have no idea. But versus starting an AI company where there's like a ton of momentum in that stuff, like that seems like the industry is on the come up versus the newspaper industry that's on the downturn. So understanding your timing from an investor point of view, like what's actually gonna last, what is staying power here. I think like that's something not many people hold too much in account to. They're all really just focused on the numbers and the people, but I think the timing is really, really important. Like you could be a real estate investor and just get into real estate in like 2007, 2008 and think like, oh, I'm an awesome person. I've got this awesome business model, but then boom, timing comes around, like you're screwed. So this really, really matters. So I think that's something to be aware of. And again, there's a lot of stuff you can't control there, but COVID, another example, I was in the food business. Our business was down 85% at its peak. That's something I would never thought, but again, timing, like what can outlast, crazy circumstances. And again, you're not going to be 100% right there, but just keep that in mind. Competitive landscape, adaptability, all that kind of stuff I think is really important. So understand what season of life you're in, what season of life the business is in, what season of life the economic environment's in, what do you think actually is going to stay, what do you think is a fad, all that kind of stuff. And then lastly, I would say like a bonus here is I think the pride and the purpose behind the investing. Like when you're investing in a brand and a business, I want to be excited about it. So like something I ask myself too is like, would I be proud to be a part of this? Does this create real value and align with who I am? That's a question I'm asking myself as I'm looking at companies, because I see a lot of stuff and there's stuff that's really cool, but I'm just like, I'm not really aligned here. It's not worth it. Like I could probably make money, but I don't get that excited about it. And I think the excitement, the fulfillment piece, like that's a big part of it for me. Like I like to work with other entrepreneurs. I want to see businesses that I want to see in the world. I want to see those started. I want to see those continuing to grow. So if you're an investor, I would look at it a little bit through that lens too, of like how excited am I about this? Like, can I really, wrap my hands around this thing and like treat it as my own? Because it is your own. You're buying a piece into the business, and you're now an owner of this thing, and you should treat it as such. And I think the best employees, the best people that work for businesses, they treat their business like they're an owner. And from an investment standpoint, you can be a real value add to your entrepreneur, to your investment, if you have that mindset. And so helping that out, or coming at it from that lens, I think you can be a real value add. And I like to be a value add investor. I don't just want to write a check and sit on the sideline. That's me is boring. Like, I'd rather just go put that in the stock market or bonds or whatever. No, I'm going to make money. I want to be more value add. I want to invest in the thing. I want to help grow the thing. And that's another lens that I look through from there. So again, make sure the people are awesome. Make sure the business has scalability. Make sure that it's not a trend. Make sure it's a real problem that they're solving. There's real customers behind it. And then timing. Make sure that you're looking at the economic environment. Like, talk to a bunch of people. I think there's a lot of things out there that you can do as far as like talking to your local cab driver, talking to people you meet down the street, your neighbor, whatever. What are they thinking? What do they think about this? Ask questions, learn a lot. Timing, really, really important. And then again, there's a lot of things outside of your control that go into that, but that's a big piece of it too. And so those are just a few things I look at when I'm investing in companies. And so again, if you're new here, I appreciate you, and hopefully you guys got some value out of this. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.